You are in the gym 6 or 7 days a week. You never skip a workout. You push every set until failure. You follow the high-volume routines of professional bodybuilders. You take your supplements and you drink your protein shakes. But when you look in the mirror, the results do not match the effort. You look flat. You look tired. You might even look softer around the midsection than you did 6 months ago. You feel weaker. Your joints ache constantly. You are exhausted during the day, but you cannot sleep at night. You assume the problem is that you are not working hard enough. You think you need to add more sets. You think you need to add more cardio. You think you need to be more disciplined. But the reality is the exact opposite. You are not failing because you are lazy. You are failing because you are doing too much. You are fighting a biological war against your own nervous system. And you are losing. Today we are going to explain why training too much destroys your physique. We are going to look at the physiology of stress and recovery. We will explain how excessive volume creates a hormonal environment that melts muscle and stores belly fat. We are going to look at the studies that prove why resting more will actually make you bigger and leaner. This is not about motivation. This is about biology. To understand why your body is rebelling against you, we have to look at the nervous system. Exercise is stress. Your body does not know the difference between a heavy squat session and running from a predator. To your brain, it is all just a threat to survival. When you train, you activate the sympathetic nervous system. This is the fight or flight mode. Your body releases cortisol to mobilize energy. Cortisol is not the enemy. You need cortisol to function. It wakes you up. It lowers inflammation during acute injury. It gives you the energy to move heavy weights. In a healthy scenario, cortisol spikes during the workout and drops rapidly afterward. But you are not in a healthy scenario. You are training every single day. You are stacking high-intensity cardio on top of heavy lifting. You are rushing from the gym to a stressful job. This keeps your cortisol chronically elevated. You are stuck in a sympathetic state. Your nervous system never gets the signal that the threat is over. And when cortisol stays high for too long, it changes from a performance hormone into a destructive hormone. The first casualty is your muscle tissue. Cortisol is catabolic. This means it breaks down complex tissues into simple energy. When your body perceives a chronic threat, it wants quick fuel. Muscle tissue is metabolically expensive. It requires a lot of calories just to maintain. If your body thinks it is fighting for survival, it sees your muscle mass as a liability. Research in the Journal of Applied Physiology has highlighted how chronic elevation of glucocorticoids, like cortisol, inhibits muscle protein synthesis. This is the biological process of repairing and building new muscle. Not only does high cortisol stop you from building new muscle, but it also actively breaks down the muscle you already have. It converts the amino acids in your muscle tissue into glucose. This is called gluconeogenesis. You are literally burning your hard-earned muscle to fuel your excessive workouts. This leads to the flat, soft look that plagues overtrained athletes. Your muscles store glycogen, which is water and carbohydrates. This is what gives muscles their full, round, hard appearance. Chronic stress depletes these glycogen stores. You walk around with empty muscles. You look smaller, even though you are working harder than anyone else in the gym. But the damage does not stop at muscle loss. We have to talk about fat storage. You might notice that despite all the cardio and all the calorie counting, you have a stubborn layer of fat around your lower belly. This is not a coincidence. This is a hormonal signal. Fat cells are not all the same. The fat cells deep inside your abdomen, known as visceral fat, are chemically different from the fat on your legs or arms. A study published in the journal Psychosomatic Medicine revealed that visceral fat cells have a significantly higher density of cortisol receptors. These receptors act like magnets. When cortisol floats through your bloodstream, it binds to your belly fat and signals your body to store energy there. It gets worse. Chronic stress impacts your insulin sensitivity. Insulin is the hormone that shuttles nutrients into your cells. In a recovered body, insulin sends food to your muscles for growth and repair. But when cortisol is high, it creates insulin resistance. Your muscle cells stop answering the door. Your body has to pump out more insulin to manage your blood sugar. Now you have high cortisol and high insulin at the same time. This is the worst possible combination for body composition. The cortisol liberates energy from your muscles, and the insulin locks that energy into your fat cells. You are effectively transferring mass from your biceps and quads directly to your waistline. This is why you can train 7 days a week and still look skinny fat. Another critical factor is testosterone. Testosterone is the primary driver of muscle growth and fat loss in men, and it is vital for women as well. Testosterone and cortisol have an inverse relationship. They are like a seesaw. When one goes up, the other goes down. You cannot have high chronic stress and high testosterone at the same time. This is deeply connected to sleep. You cannot separate training from recovery. They are two sides of the same coin. If you increase your training volume, you must increase your sleep. But overtraining often destroys sleep quality. You lie in bed feeling tired but wired. This is your sympathetic nervous system failing to switch off. This lack of deep sleep is catastrophic for your hormones. The majority of your testosterone and growth hormone is released during deep sleep cycles. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association restricted the sleep of healthy young men to 5 hours a night. After just 1 week, their testosterone levels dropped by 10 to 15%. That is a massive reduction. That creates the hormonal profile of someone decades older. If you are training 6 days a week and sleeping 6 hours a night, you are digging a hole you cannot fill. You are breaking down tissue in the gym, but you lack the hormonal support to repair it. You are running a deficit. Your body responds by lowering your metabolic rate and holding onto fat stores. It enters survival mode. We also need to address the myth of volume. You have been told that more is better. You have been told that if 3 sets are good, 10 sets are better. But muscle growth does not happen in the gym. The gym is just the stimulus. It is the trigger. The growth happens when you are resting. Muscle protein synthesis creates a window of growth. According to research in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and other physiology journals, after a hard resistance training session, muscle protein synthesis remains elevated for up to 36 or even 48 hours. This means your chest muscles are still growing 2 days after you train them. If you go back to the gym the next day and train chest again, or even if you train a different muscle group but stress your central nervous system significantly, you interrupt this process. You are cutting the recovery short. You are layering new damage on top of unfinished repair. You are never reaching the point of supercompensation, which is where the muscle actually gets larger and stronger. So how do you escape this trap? How do you fix a body that is burned out and unresponsive? The answer is to do less, but with higher quality. You need to reduce your training frequency. For the vast majority of natural lifters, training 3 to 4 days a week is superior to training 6 or 7 days. You need rest days. Real rest days. Days where you do not lift. Days where you do not run. On these days, your cortisol levels drop. Your inflammation subsides. Your testosterone rebounds. Your nervous system switches from fight or flight to rest and digest. This is when the magic happens. This is when the water retention flushes out and you start to look leaner. This is when the glycogen refills and you start to look fuller. You also need to prioritize sleep above everything else. Sleep is the most powerful performance enhancer available. It is better than any supplement. You need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep to wash away the stress of the day and reset your insulin sensitivity. You must also rethink your nutrition. If you have been overtraining, you have likely been under-eating relative to your activity level. This signals famine to your body, which increases cortisol even further. You need to eat at maintenance calories or a slight surplus. You need to consume adequate protein to support the repair process. You need to convince your body that it is safe, that there is no famine, that there is no predator. You should also incorporate activities that lower stress. Walking is the ultimate tool for this. Unlike high-intensity cardio, which can spike cortisol, walking lowers cortisol. It is restorative. It increases blood flow to the muscles without taxing the nervous system. A 20-minute walk outside is more beneficial for your physique than another hour on the treadmill. It requires a mental shift to accept this. You have been programmed to believe that suffering equals success. You feel guilty when you are not in the gym, but you have to look at the evidence. Look at your results. If working out every day has left you feeling small, weak, and tired, it is time to try a different approach. Recovery is not laziness. Recovery is part of the discipline. It takes discipline to leave the gym when you want to do more. It takes discipline to go to bed early. It takes discipline to take a day off. When you finally pull back on the volume and prioritize your recovery, your body will respond. Your inflammation will go down. Your joints will stop hurting. Your strength will skyrocket because your nervous system is fresh. And ironically, by doing less work, you will build more muscle. You are not failing because of a lack of effort. You are failing because you are fighting your own biology. Stop digging the hole deeper. Put down the shovel. Give your body the rest it is begging for. The muscle grows in the silence between the workouts, not in the noise of the gym.